Hi, and welcome to O2 Tara Talks, conversations about one thing you can do right now to stay healthy in your body and mind. And let's just make sure we say today's talk is for informational purposes only. Consult your practitioner for guidance specific to your situation. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to say today we are talking with Cyndi Lynne, a nurse, health coach, and compassionate listener who believes that taking responsibility for our own health is the most powerful way we can live. Hi, Cyndi. How are you?
Hi, Tara. I'm doing great.
Can you tell us in one sentence how you help people?
Absolutely. I help women transcend their diagnoses to find optimal health and live their best life.
That is a very compelling way to help people. So let me ask you then, with our topic of the day of one thing you can do right now, can you tell us what is your one thing?
Probably the number one thing I have to address with most of my clients is hydrating right.
Hydrating right. Okay, that sounds like if you're putting that qualifier on there, there must be a lot that we need to know. So can you tell us why is that important for our health?
Absolutely. It's, hydration and drink more and drink your water and drink X number of ounces of water are kind of a continuous message in any of the health blogs and anyone you follow. It's sort of the go-to. And most people strive to do it and they have some ideas of why it's important for them, but they still really struggle with it. And sometimes if you don't do it correctly, you can actually end up causing yourself more problems than when you aren't drinking, believe it or not.
And so why is it important to do for our health?
So, as you may have heard before, a little reminder never hurts that our body is comprised of a great amount of water. A huge percentage of our cells and all of our tissues are water-based. It's important for great skin. That's a good motivation for women especially. But for detoxifying, all of our organs require a lot of water to do that. And especially in this time right now, healthy mucous membranes require a tremendous amount of moisture in order to do their job, filtering pathogens and so on. So that's something I'm sure that crosses over into what you talk about with mouth breathing as well. I've heard you talk about the dry mouth and the risks that poses.
Absolutely, right. So overall, staying hydrated is really critical for our health, just so we can function well in any time, but particularly at this time while we're really trying to fight off this virus really, and any, not just the coronavirus, just the flu and the cold and flu season in general, right? And it's funny because I'm sorry.
And even allergies. People who struggle with seasonal allergies, and for many of us, we're coming into a spring season and the pollen will start and all of that. So even having healthy, moist mucous membranes helps our body filter out pollen and those kind of particulates as well.
Okay, so if we think about that, and we know we're supposed to drink, a certain amount of water and whatever, obviously a lot of us are not hydrating properly. If you said that we need to hydrate right and that you see that with your clients, so can you tell us a little bit, what are some of the roadblocks that you see as someone is trying to hydrate right?
Right, absolutely. And I'll share one of the first ones I'm completely guilty of, especially when I'm working from home. Somehow it's more difficult. I will fill my water bottle in the morning and then somehow manage to lose it around the house. And then when I go back into whatever room I've left it in, I drink a whole bunch of it at once. I think to myself, oh, I'm behind in my drinking. Pick up the water bottle, chug it all down. Well, in the process of doing that, not only do I swallow a lot of air, but it's a lot of water all at once. It doesn't necessarily feel real comfortable. And I have clients who've complained that when they try to drink water, they end up feeling very bloated. And that's one of the reasons, is gulping instead of sipping and getting all that air in addition to the water. So having water handy where you can sip it on a regular basis makes a big difference.
That's really interesting. I remember I've always been a consummate water drinker because of my history of my mouth breathing. I was always thirsty. Of course, I didn't realize that was the reason until now, but I was always drinking water. Um, and I remember talking to a woman one time who said she didn't like to drink water, and I practically fell out of my chair, but it was for the reason that you said. She would feel bloated.
Absolutely.
So it's making me wonder if maybe she was doing that, not like avoiding it because she didn't like the bloated feeling, and
Hmm.
then drinking way too much at one point because she was too thirsty, and then still, getting that bloated feeling then again. So overall, it sounds like you can tell us what can we do then to overcome this roadblock that we may encounter there? Is
Hmm.
it basically, like you said, making sure we're spreading it out and
Yep. So spreading it out through the day, sipping then rather than gulping. And then I'm going to actually steal one of your ideas, one of your suggestions, and that is being mindful if your nose is stuffy. Because if you're congested and you're drinking, obviously you're going to drink with your mouth open. But if you're congested, you may be gulping air at the same time that you're drinking lots of water at a time because you need to breathe. So gulping with a congested nose also causes a lot more air to come into the stomach and a lot more of that bloating. So it's not surprising to me that you're hearing that from some of your clients. I don't like to drink water. Makes me feel real bloated.
hmm. You bring up a really, really important point about the nose being blocked. I actually just wrote a book on how to clear your nose because I dealt with that for all those years, and I really have it down to a science now on how to do it. But the first step is always to unblock the nose immediately, and there's that exercise that I have on my website. So if anybody who's listening deals with a chronically stuffy nose, you can use this exercise to give you immediate relief. And it would be a great idea to do it right before drinking then. So you get that to open up and you can drink without gulping because you're right, Cyndi, you would be swallowing so much air and then that would be leading to a lot more discomfort. Wow. So that's really a great tip. So overall, we're saying hydrate right, make sure that you are doing that to keep yourself healthy, especially in this particular environment that we have now and in the cold and flu season in general. So Cyndi, thanks so much. And I know as a health coach that you do help people. And do you have something that you would be able to provide to people who are interested in learning more?
Absolutely. This Hydrate Right is just one of several tips I have in an ebook on health practices that you can upgrade. And they're very much like the themes of your talk, kind of one thing at a time, easy to integrate, not massively life-changing, no expense associated with it. And you can find that at my website, cindylynne.com.
CindyLynne.com. And that I will put a note of that. I'll put that in the show notes. And it's Cyndi Lynne is CYNDILYNNE, just in case you want to go and get it now before I get the show notes together. All right, well, Cyndi, thank you so much for giving this excellent thing that we can do right now to really try and stay healthy in our bodies and our minds. Because like you said, our bodies are mostly water, really. And the more we stay hydrated, the better our bodies can function. All right, well, I hope you stay well and
Thank
we
you.
will talk soon. Thank
All
you
right.
so much,
Thanks,
Cyndi.
Tara.
Bye.
Bye-bye.